Hello, my name is David Ehrman, and I am here at the Assembly of Yahweh in Cisco, Texas, for the Feast of Tabernacles, the second day. Uh, what I wish to relate to you is the Aramaic of Daniel, and this will be a short video, and what we have is a problem where some people try to date Daniel to like the second century uh, BC, when, instead of the early dates, like the seventh or seventh century BC, which would be the setting and background given by the book. And the people who tried to give it a late date tried to discredit it. Well, I'm going to relate some uh, re- research given by the late biblical scholar Gleason Archer on the Aramaic of Daniel, showing that it was written early and could not have been written in the second century BC. I'll say, now, to quote, the Maccabean date hypothesis was produced long before the discovery of the Genesis Apocryphon from the Qumran Cave 1. Before the publication of this scroll, there was no Palestinian Aramaic document extant from the 3rd or 2nd century BC, and it was therefore theoretically possible to date the Aramaic of Daniel as coming from the 160s BC. But with the publication and linguistic analysis of the Apocryphon, which is a sort of midrash for Genesis, it has become apparent that Daniel's is composed in a type of centuries earlier Aramaic. A full discussion of this evidence appears in my article, The Aramaic of the Genesis Apocryphon. The Apocryphon was probably composed, according to its editors, N. Avigad and Y. Yadin in the 3rd century BC, even though this copy dates from the 1st century BC. Yet, linguistic analysis indicates that in morphology, vocabulary, and syntax, the Apocryphon shows a considerable later stage of the Aramaic language than do the Aramaic chapters of Daniel. As for the characteristic word order, the Apocryphon tends to follow the normal sequence of Northwest Semitic verbs first, followed by subject, then object in the characteristic structure of the clause. Beyond question, this was the normal practice of Western Aramaic used in Palestine during the Maccabean period. But the Aramaic of Daniel shows a marked tendency for the verb to be deferred till a later position in the clause, often even after the noun uh, somewhat, like the word order of Akkadian, Babylonian, and Assyrian, as used in Babylonia from the time of Sargon of Agade, uh, bracket 24th century BC, close brackets, and onward. On the basis of the word order alone, it is safe to conclude that Daniel would not have been composed in Palestine for the Maccabean date hypothesis demands. but in the eastern sector of the Fertile Crescent, in all probability in Babylon itself. The above mentioned article contains several pages that would prove quite conclusively to any scholar that the second century date and Palestinian provenance of the book of Daniel cannot be upheld any longer without violence being done to the science of linguistics. And this is from the Expositor's Bible Commentary. Uh, the general editor is Frank E. Gaebling, spelled Gaebelein, and Volume 7. The copyright is 1985 by the Zondervan Corporation. The article is Daniel by Gleason L. Archer, Jr., and it's on page 23. So that should make it clear that the Aramaic of Daniel can be trusted, and therefore, what is written prophetically was prophesied, rather than the late date hypothesis, which was given. Actually, it was given in early Christian circles, not Christian circles, but early skeptic circles, uh, who wanted to discredit the book of the early date of the book of Daniel, because the early date talks about events that hadn't happened. Yeah, at the 6th century BC. That hadn't happened yet. That happened later. And actually, I can even go and talk about such things as the rise and collapse of the Roman Empire, which is also in the book of Daniel, but that's a later study. Anyway, beware of liberal biblical scholarship, because it wants to discredit the truth of Scripture. So whenever you encounter that, look and research and see what conservative scholarships has to say about it. For Yahweh, the God of Israel and the God of all creation, is true, and every man a liar.